Hello. Boy, it's been a long time, hasn't it? The last time that I checked in with you all, we had just gotten back from our big trip to Missouri and Tennessee, and we had brought back our 3 goats, and then life went insane. And so I wanted to come on today and just give you a recap of what's happened in the last 10 weeks and what's going on now, and then talk about the future of the Empty Nesters Homestead. So to start things off, I have a ton of notes here in front of me. So if I'm looking down, that's why I'm trying not to forget anything. So last year we made a vision board, and I'm going to put that up here so you can see what it looked like. This was for the year 2024, and we are just about out of days, and we've gotten everything done we're going to get done on this. So I just wanted to go through the way I did it. I split it up into seasons, and so winter we had the bucket hanging from the tree. That is representative of collecting maple syrup, or the sap to make syrup. So we had several trees, by several I'm gonna say 6, I think, throughout the property that we tapped into this year, and we did get a little bit of syrup. It was a learning experience. We've figured out a lot of things that we'll do different this year, and I'll hopefully be sharing our process this year. We were a little late last year. We also got some walnut syrup, so that was interesting that walnut trees have sap, and you can make syrup out of that, and it has like a kind of nutty flavor, and it's really good. So we accomplished that. The second thing over there is some garlic and onions. I had never planted garlic before, and you plant that in the late fall, and then in the spring it comes up, and it absolutely did. We had a beautiful little miniature patch of garlic that I got 26 or 27 huge bulbs out of. We've used some of it, and then I should have planted it already this year. My goal is to plant that on Halloween, but didn't happen. We'll just use what we can, and maybe I'll plant some more in the spring and do a spring planting of that. Onions, those flopped this year. Didn't get any decent onions, but I think we're gonna amend the soil a lot in the garden and get things planted more on time. I don't know. It's just several things, and I need to start a journal, and I'm gonna do that. I am. The other picture for winter is the beehives. We did get the beehives cleaned out and reorganized and restacked. Also, we got a couple more from a friend, and we were able to set up 2 beehives ready to pick up bees in the spring. So that takes us to spring. We did get our bees. We got 2 packages of bees, which one of them was kind of poor from the beginning. The other one looked great. Last time we checked, still looks great. We're hoping they're doing okay this winter. We're hoping to maybe find some swarms in the spring and add to it and have more, because right now we only have the 1 beehive, and we did not harvest any honey this year because they were just struggling to get a good start. So we're gonna leave those alone until spring and see how they're doing this year. What else is there? We've got the garden, a fence around the garden. So we did that. The in-ground garden has a fence around it. We got that up. That works pretty well, although something has chewed a hole in it already, but I think we can stabilize it a little bit in the spring, and it's fine. Goats. There is a picture of goats, and of course you all know we went and got the goats. So that picture for the spring was actually building the goat pen and the their area to be in the shed. So of course, you know, we spent a lot of time working on that, and we got that done in time to go get the goats this fall. And we have the 3 goats, 1 buck and 2 does. More on those in a minute. And then the other thing on the spring square is my green stalk planter that I bought. The idea was I was hoping to do herbs and stuff in that this spring. That did not happen. It's still sitting over here and it's not even put together yet. So what are we, like 6 out of 7 so far? The summer has a beautiful landscaped area that you see, and our goal was to landscape the front. We've got a huge tree that has a landscape area around it, and then just the front of the house. That did not get done. We ended up just basically weed eating it to keep weeds down, and it looks horrible. However, instead of that, we built the raised bed garden and got all those raised beds done and filled, and I even planted some stuff a little too late in the fall, but they are up and going, and there's more on that later too. So in the fall, we've got stacks of firewood there. You see, we worked mostly in the fall and did a lot of splitting. Dave had cut down a lot of trees that had come down in the woods, and so they're ready to use. They were already dead for a little while. And so between he and I, we got that split and have enough wood in the garage, I believe, to last us the winter. And the last thing is a fire pit. Our fire pit area has been taken over by weeds. The edging has fallen apart. It's been mowed over. The rocks are just, they have weeds in them. It's just, the whole thing is terrible, and that will be a fun project. We did not get to that one either. So let me jump in here and let's talk about the last 10 weeks, because I feel like I owe an explanation to why I just disappeared. And so I think I had mentioned in another video, or it may have been a video that I started to start and never finished starting, therefore I never finished it. But I got a new job. I had an opportunity that just seemed amazing, and I thought about it. I asked a million questions, and I went from working 3 12-hour shifts at a hospital and outpatient clinic back and forth, being on call, having holidays on call and things like that, to working 5 8-hour shifts, much better pay, no call, no weekend, no holidays, and it's all outpatient setting, so there's no inpatients, rearranging hospital rooms and all of that stuff that was just really taking a toll on my body already. Not that I disliked my old job, it was fine, but I had a better opportunity, and in that opportunity, with the better pay came training for echocardiography. So that is an ultrasound of the heart. So I am registered in abdomen or abdomen general and OBGYN, and I have experience in vascular, but I had never done echo. So echo is a whole nother creature. And so I spent 10 days in Alabama training on how to do echoes. Lots of book work and computer work before that, the 10 days there, and then 3 weeks of training with my my trainers at my clinic. And so that has been one of the most stressful times of my life. Not stressful really in a bad way. I don't know that stress can be good, but it was more just like exhausting, mentally exhausting. And so I never thought that I could be so tired just from being mentally exhausted, but it has been quite a couple months. So I got home from the 10 days in Alabama just in time for Thanksgiving, and so we weren't going anywhere for Thanksgiving. It was just Dave and I, and we went to town and got Cracker Barrel Thanksgiving meal, came home and ate that, and just enjoyed being together again. Then Dave started having more of a problem with a hernia, an inguinal hernia that he's been having problems with for years. It got way worse. We almost went to the emergency room one night. That did coax him to go ahead and call the doctor. He got in for an appointment pretty quickly. They said, yeah, you definitely need surgery on that. When do you want to do it? He said as soon as possible. And so that surgery was this past Monday. So he is in the process of recovering from that now. The first several days were pretty rough. Yesterday, I think he started feeling quite a bit better, being Saturday, so 6 days after surgery. Today is day 7, and I think he's a little more sore just because he was up more and moving after a week of not moving much. But he's recovering, and we're looking forward to brighter days there. The weekend before Christmas, which was the weekend right before his surgery, we spent at his parents' in Paducah. So we drove up there after work on a Friday, and we came home this past Sunday. So we spent 2 days there, and Dave's parents basically followed us home because they stayed with us for the week because I had to work all but Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. I had to work the day he had surgery. So they actually took him to the surgery, stayed with him, brought him home, and they were, there are no words for how tremendously helpful they were just being here. You know, I'm getting settled into my new schedule, my new job, but it's still not something that's just easy. Like, oh, I got to go to work. Okay, I'm home. It's more like, oh, what am I doing? So it was really great to have them here. His mom cooked for us, his dad helped with dishes, and just everything that, everything to help keep us going, and then to help me keep Dave down, which really, he kept himself down pretty much those first few days, but that's what happened there. So that brings us to yesterday. Yesterday, his parents went home, and Dave started feeling like a little bit better, I think, as of yesterday. Like I said, he is actually out in his shop right now. He promised that all he would do is walk slowly and put small things away. So I'm gonna hold him to that. Okay, now part 3, Homestead update. So the chickens, I had 28 chickens at one point because we kept having more clutches of a broody hen hatching eggs. So I had 12 chickens, well, 11 hens and a rooster. The first batch hatch was 4 chicks, and then we had 8 more, and then we had 4 more. There are so many, and they're all the same size now that I can't tell who's who. My old chicks have names. There's a couple of really original ones that I'm calling names, but I'm not naming. As a general rule, I'm not naming any more chickens. Anyway, out of all of those babies, 4 of them have died. We don't even know why. I think I'm really just kind of overstuffed out there. I need desperately to get rid of some roosters, and nobody wants roosters, and I don't want to eat the roosters. So I don't know what to do with that. Right now I have 4 mature roosters that are actually crowing and doing the things that roosters do, and Mr. T, my original rooster, is not exactly happy that he has competition. So I need to get rid of at least 2 roosters now, and probably more in the future. The bees, like I said, we're hoping for the best out there. They're doing their winter thing. The goats, let's see, the goats are pregnant. The goats are getting a little bit fat. Even Leroy, I joked that I think Leroy's pregnant too, but they're eating good. They're so cool. I can take them for a walk through the woods. I put leashes on them just in case, because I feel like I can have a better chance of catching them. You know, if they do something stupid, I can hopefully catch up and step on the leash to stop them. But I don't even need a leash. We just let them out. They follow us wherever we go. We take them out to the little, our little, what we call our hayfield. There's still a little bit of green grass out there, and they were thoroughly enjoying the cornfield right next to that, because when they harvested, they left, several pieces of corn laying, and the goats were enjoying cleaning that up. I figured that farmer is not going to mind at all if they're cleaning some corn up and pooping and fertilizing a little part of his field in the meantime. Hi, Heart Henry. So that's a good place to lay, but I can't see my papers now. Okay. The gardens, of course, it's the dead of winter here. We've had a couple little snows. We've had a cold snap, and so right now the gardens are just ugly. They're dead. They're waiting. They're resting, and we're looking forward to getting back together again. The weather here, as I said, we've had a couple of snows. We've had some cold, but for the last week or more, it's just been above freezing and raining. We've had so much rain. Everything is so muddy. It's so nasty and ugly out there. The chickens are wet. The goats are wet. Everything's just wet. It's just nasty. But I think that we have some Arctic air coming with some snow. So I'm looking forward to snow. I'm even okay driving to work in snow. I would rather there be snow on the ground than mud. That's actually why I left Tennessee. One of the reasons I left Tennessee was because winter was 40 degrees and rain all the time. Mud, yuck. And if we gotta do winter, I'd rather just drop a few more degrees and have some pretty snow and some frozen mud so we're not all achy. Okay, now, last part of this, I want to show you our vision for 2025. So, I'm gonna admit that this was mostly my work, my vision. I asked Dave for his input, and he's just really not into thinking about doing anything right now. So this is subject to change, but here we have the Bosch Vision Board 2025, and at the top are 3 things that I hope that we can do. And right in there in the middle is a picture of Dave and I about 14 years ago, I think, when we had really started eating healthy, and we were actually eating vegan at the time. I don't think I intend to go back to vegan. I think meat is fine. We buy high quality meat. I've talked about that before, but there are so many ways that we can improve what we eat and how much we eat. And as far as exercise, I'm hoping that when Dave gets to feeling better, we can start doing just some little exercises, even just right here around the house together, and start getting in a little bit better shape, feeling better. I think that's probably everybody's New Year's resolution, but you know, I can't help aging a year every year, but I can somewhat control how I feel. So that's that. Enjoy the shop. So we had a big year last year of building and hurrying and deadlines, and this needs done and that needs done, and work. That's not the long-term goal here. The long-term goal is to enjoy life. And so not that building stuff isn't necessarily fun, but when you're on a deadline and you have to do these certain things at a certain time, you don't want to live like that long term. So we're kind of coming to the end of that. We have, well, I'll get to that in a minute. So enjoy the shop. Dave has had his shop now for 2.5 years. He still doesn't have it organized. That's what I said he's working on today a little bit, and he's working on building a table. I forget what it's called. It's something with his saw, and he needs this big table out front. Anyway, he's almost done with that. He's just got a little bit to do, but that's one of the things this year that is going to be one of his main goals, is working on the shop, getting it organized, getting it to where he can just go out there and do something that he wants to do, and not have everything who knows where and not quite finished and in such disarray. And then the other side is enjoy the garden, which, you know, a garden can be a lot of work. The work can be fun, but also just the mentality of enjoying the garden. Like, why am I doing this? And what am I going to do with the produce when I get it? And you know, how good is this for me and for Dave? And you know, just everything with what we're doing. I think this is more of a mental enjoy the garden thing. I don't want the garden to be, oh man, I've got to go pull weeds, or I'm so angry that this didn't even grow, or whatever. I want to keep learning from my mistakes. I want to, going back to a journal, I want to start a garden journal so that I can continue to improve on things. And I want to just be able to enjoy the process and the result. So our other goals for 2025, we've got finish the garden. So that's the raised bed garden. Last spring we got everything done enough. I'm sorry, not the spring. That was the original goal. In the fall, we got things just enough done that I was able to plant a few fall things. They did not do well. I didn't have time to amend the soil. It was not a, you know, all I can say is we got it done. But we still have pavers to lay and wood chips to lay in the paths, and a fence to put up, and the gates, and a trellis. And so those things are not really urgent, and I want them to not be urgent. I want it to be something that we look forward to doing. There's some hard work to come with that, but we're getting pretty good at putting fences up. So anyway, that's just something that we can work on when we get a chance. But the garden is good to go as far as the raised beds, amending things, and we'll be working on that more as summer gets closer. Baby goats, obviously that's coming. February 3rd is the due date. Before we can do the baby goats, this is our hopefully last thing that is pressing and has a deadline and is urgent, and that is a pen for the billy goat, because once the babies are born, he has to leave that pen. He can't stay there. He could very well hurt the babies, and also we don't want the does to get pregnant again, so it will be time to separate him. So before Dave's surgery, even in the pain, he managed to, we went out there one day and we got all the corner posts in. We went out the next day, we got all the T-posts in, and the next day he got the fence up all by himself. So then he had the surgery, and it's gonna be, the funny thing is, his day of being able to lift again is the day the goats are due. So I'm gonna be doing the gate and the tension wire on the bottom with his supervision, and we will get that done. But he got the majority of it done. There's not that much left to do. I'm gonna build a just a little structure to keep him safe and dry, just using some old pallets and a tarp until we can actually build something nicer. The last two things are pretty self-explanatory. Pay off all debts. I mentioned that my job, I did get a pretty sizable raise going to this job, and so it is time to seriously start working on student loans, credit card debt, things that we have just accumulated over the seasons of our life that we kind of did out of order, but here we are. So that is our plan. We're looking forward to that, and returning to church. So we used to be missionaries, we used to be in ministry, and when we moved here, we looked for a church and we found a church, but I guess we just never, I don't know, it just never stuck. So we're not gonna be probably going to that church. So now we're back to trying to find a church, which you all know is very hard to do. But it's time. It's time we got back to church. So that is 2024 and 2025. I just covered 2 years of our lives with the last 10 weeks being the most intense. But I just wanted to get on here and check in with you all, let you know we're still alive, we're still okay. Got a lot going on. A lot of unexpected things happened, and I feel like now with my normal schedule, and we've got his surgery out of the way and my training done, I am hoping that I can be on a more regular schedule of posting videos. My main problem right now is my creativity. I think that all of the learning I've had to do has killed my creativity, and I've got to come up with things to video. So if you guys would leave suggestions down below, let me know what you want to hear about, what you want me to focus on. I'm willing to try anything, so throw it at me. Until then, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off of here, get going. It's now raining hard outside, and I guess I've got plenty of time to edit this video now. So you guys have a great week. I hope to see you again next weekend. I hope that the exhaustion in my face will slowly begin to go away while I'm making these videos over the next few weeks, and I can get back to my happy, hoppy self. So, from one exhausted person to all of my friends, thank you. Have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.